Hi, folks. We're in the Cobb TV studio for our weekly chat with Cobb Commission Chairman Mike Boyce. Here, first, is this the first one in 2020 we're doing,
Yes,
I guess?
it is, and you can tell it's already going to be a great year because, once again, our wardrobes are not coordinated.
No, we're not coordinated at all.
So you can tell this is truly the Ross and Mike show.
Yeah, we have no idea what to wear.
Zilch.
So it's not, we're just starting 2020, but
Right.
not too soon to talk about the budget that
Right.
we don't enact until later this year.
July, yes. Well, I think if it's hard to believe that I've been in office a little over 3 years, but if you go back to the very first year when I proposed my first budget, and you look at all the slides that we had to put out there, because quite honestly, this ship had a lot of holes in it and it was sinking. We had to do a lot of patching up to get where we are right now, but if you look at the slide that's coming to the screen, this is it for this summer, for 2021. This county, economically, fiscally, whatever category you look at, has never been in a better position. So that allows me to simplify the budget. The three things I see on here are, once again, third straight year in a row we'll have the same millage rate in the three different categories for general fund, fire fund, and parks bond. And oh, by the way, I'm told we will pay off the parks bond in 2021. So that means we'll have paid off that 10-year bond in 5 years. That's how good the economy is. The second one is we want to continue to reduce the water fund transfer, take it from 9 down to 8%. Why is that important? The water department needs to have capital in order to do its projects. And if you take money out of that, out of their till at $20 million a year or some number like that, they got to make up that number somewhere, and guess where they make it up? They raise your water rates. So we have to help them out here, and by helping them out, we help you out by keeping your water rates at a reasonable level. And then, of course, the third one is that I've always said all along here, your number one responsibility as a chairman or a commander is to take care of your people. And we want to, once again, let our staff know that they're magnificent. So I'm going to again propose some kind of a merit pay for all the staff in 2021. And that's it. The ship is on, running all cylinders. Across the county, I don't care what department you look at, I don't care what agency you look at, everybody's doing great this year. We need to maximize that while continuing to build up our fund balance to get ready for a rainy day.
And even before we get to that point where we start working on fiscal year 2021 budget, I know that just around the corner we want to deal with public safety again and
Sure.
Stepin Grade,
Right.
and we seem to be getting closer to that.
Well, I thought for a while there I was going to have to put the Stepin Grade in the 2021 budget. But again, because we're being able to draw in more resources because of the health of the economy, at the end of the month, at the end of January here, we're going to have an agenda item to implement for the first time in Cobb County history a Stepin Grade for our certified police officers and firemen and sheriff. Why is that important? Because that now, for the first time, we get to lay out a compensation table that the board, you can't formally commit this board to a future board, or you can't formally commit a future board to this board, because whatever one board does, another board can undo. But at least now it's out there, and we all recognize is that if we really believe that public safety is our number one priority, and it should be, that this is a compensation table that our public safety officers expect from us, and we should live up to that. And we're going to certainly do everything we can possibly to do that. But I'm really, really pleased to announce that we're going to have that agenda item, and we'll be able to implement that in the next couple months. So our public safety officers will all receive a pay increase sometime this spring, which, by the way, for most of them will be their third pay raise since I've been in office.
Right. And I think there's a lot of confusion, and I was one of those initially when this all came to be. Why the Stepin Grade is important, what it does for members of public safety, and the message it sends to them.
Yeah, well, it's like businesses. They want to have predictability in their future. Well, so do our public, employees, and particularly our police officers and firemen and sheriff. They look, every single day they run the risk when they go out the door that they're going to have to encounter some situation that most of us in our worst dreams don't want to have to deal with. They want to know that we've got their back. And I'm not saying compensation is the only way we do that. We do that with benefits. We did that last year by providing premiums for their retirement fund through the state program. I think they were expecting us to to finally live up to our words that if they believe that we believe public safety is number one priority, we're gonna fund those priorities to do just that. So this is just one more message to our public safety officials that we really mean it this time, and we mean it by our actions. And this is probably, of all the things that they've been looking for, I would probably say that most of them would say this is the number one issue that would give them confidence that for the first time in a long time, we're going to step up to the plate and do what it takes to incentivize them to not only come to Cobb County, but to stay with us and make a career here as a public safety officer.
Right. And as we've discussed many times before, we're just in a challenging arena when it
We
comes
are,
to
yes. This issue about loss of officers, that's not just a regional issue, it's a national issue. Every police department, I can't speak for that, I'm not authority on all police departments, but certainly the media stories that I read and other reports I'm getting, most police departments of a region like Atlanta, major urban areas, are having the same issue. And I said it during my comments to the delegation. All we're doing here is, robbing from Peter to pay Paul. When public safety is not a county issue, it's a regional issue. So the fact that I'm taking officers from County X to come to County Y, that's not helping our regional approach. Because the bad guys and gals, they always have the advantage because they can strike when they want to. We need to bring stability to all our public safety departments in the region here by leaving officers there so we can build on that effect we get when you work together a long time and you work together as a group and you recognize what your issues are and how you're going to deal with them, with your resources, not just on a countywide level, but also by partnering with our agencies around us, other counties, as well as federal and state agencies.
And I know there are going to be people out there listening to us talk saying, how can you go to Stepin Grade? How can you provide more merit increases for employees without raising the millage rate? But as you've talked about, it's all about the tax digest.
All about the tax digest. I cannot say this enough times. The reason we can have the amenities we have in Cobb County, the reason we can have the kind of compensation we have for all employees, not just public safety, is because of the 13,000 businesses in Cobb County that not only come here, but they stay here. As you know, they're fully taxed. They don't get any kind of an exemption like the residences do. And it's important that they understand the benefit they get, that even though they're fully taxed, by leaving the millage rate low, we can give them, again, that stability in their future planning. But second of all, they see that when we say we're going to give you a certain level of service, you're going to get it. And you can count on that. And by counting on that, that has a synergistic effect on you being able to be successful here in Cobb County. So right now, the economy, I think that doesn't take a rocket science to see that the economy is doing great right now. We need to take advantage of this time and using the additional resources that come in from the tax digest to finally pay our public safety and our employees what they have earned. But secondly, to build on the future and show a commitment to those areas in public safety and to our employees that when the money's there, all right, we're going to do what we have to do to keep you here. And when the money's not there, we've got a rainy day fund to take care of it and fund balance to sustain this so that we have the time to deal with that downturn.
You mentioned providing a level of service, and in the county government, as I've seen firsthand now for the last couple of years, there are people that are key to making that happen that really are unseen to the residents of Cobb County. You and I were at a retirement ceremony yesterday for a man that they said should be on a postage stamp as the face of Cobb County.
Yeah, Eddie Cannon retired yesterday as the head of support services. I'm not saying that nobody is irreplaceable. We all one day or another are going to have to move on. But there are certain people, who leave a mark in how they did things. And we see that around the county here, where sometimes we name buildings or roads after people. And Eddie Cannon's one of those guys who needs to have something named after him. He has been a public servant that reflects the epitome of what that model should be. And I said in a recent Georgia Trend magazine that the highest compliment you can pay a public servant is you don't know who we are because we do our job. Well, that's Eddie Cannon. I don't think 99% of the people in Cobb County appreciate all that he has done because he's done it so well. And he does it because he understands teamwork. There's probably very few people in his 30-plus year career in Cobb County he does not know in this county and has learned how to work with. And the turnout yesterday was monstrous. And I'm just going to say here that I just want to wish Eddie and his family all the best. He's earned this retirement, and he's always welcome back to this family, and that there are a few that will be able to emulate that legacy. I hope many try to, but he sets the standard for it. We're going to miss him, but I know he's left some people behind him that will follow on and let us continue the momentum of keeping Cobb great.
And as you mentioned, he retired as support services director, but he's got a legacy in other parts of the county.
He does.
As well.
You know, the stories yesterday about what he did here, the sacrifices he made in the interest of the county, just goes to show you that he has a true servant's heart.
And even as we're taping this, we've got another big retirement that is just being transmitted to the employees of this county.
Right.
Our county manager he's also had a long and colorful career with the county, and he's retiring.
Well, they ought to rename the county after Rob. Rob Hosack has been the county manager for a little under 3 years. He was selected, one of the main reasons, with the former county manager, David Hankerson, who was here for almost 25 years as a county manager, endorsed him. And so when someone like David Hankerson endorses somebody, you need to listen to that. But apparently David knew what he was talking about, because Rob has been a tireless worker. Look, I'm the county chairman. I put the budget together. I'm the one that goes out there along with the other commissioners and fights for all these priorities. But they have to be executed after we set the priorities in their past. And Rob is the captain of the ship that keeps this ship going in the same direction at the same speed, and everything inside the ship is working, has been properly lubricated, the crew's being fed. There are no words that allow us, in this time allowed us for this video, to talk about all the great things that Rob Hosack has done. He's done more in 3 years as a county manager than I believe a lot of people will be able to do in 30 years. But I try to get him to stay till after the budget process, because he and I work hand in glove. He's my right-hand partner. We're tied at the hip. We think alike. We talk all the time. We all understand what's going here. I don't have to sit around here and worry about what's going to get done with Rob, like I didn't have to with Eddie. But there comes a time, he still has a son in high school, and I think that he realizes that those kind of times with family will never be seen again. And I admire his courage in stepping back right now and realizing that his biggest priority is to his family. And so I think that he's going to again be welcome here, but he's left a county better in so many different ways than when he got here 3 years ago. And I have to say that we could not have done this without Rob Hosack and the rest of the staff getting behind him. And he's the one that made them all work, brought them together. He was the glue of the team.
I always remember when I have talked to him in the couple of years since I've been here, he'll be on vacation. He'll come back, but then mention all the people that he's talked to, right, all the things he's done for the county while he was on vacation, still taking care of business.
Yeah, it's a large county of 760,000 people, but it's not so large that people like me can't return phone calls and emails. And it's not so large a county that Rob must know half of them, in his career. And that is the kind of experience and asset that's priceless, because every day there's a unique challenge to being a government official here. Things come out of left field you never even thought about, and you have to know, how am I going to deal with this? And Rob somehow always had his finger on somebody. Yeah, this guy did this 10 years ago, or he's the kind of person who probably can help us with that. He was just a fountain of knowledge that is priceless. And I'm sure that Dr. McMorris will inevitably be the interim after he leaves in April. And she's got a lot to learn, but she and Rob have been working together very closely. I had breakfast with them this morning along with the budget director, and it was just a real pleasure talking about the future and what we want to do in the budget and what we can afford, and just sitting there watching these three people talk to each other and interplay. It's just a real honor to be on this board right now and to work with a staff that if I could, I'd make them all Marines.
All right. Well, 2020 is underway, and things are, as you heard, are already happening. So we'll invite you to do what I always preach: follow us on social media, sign up for our newsletters. There's a wealth of information in those newsletters, and if something big happens in the county, that's one of the ways that we can notify you. You can go to cobbcounty.org and find all of that there. And Chairman, I guess we'll see you next week as we get the year going.
Let's get this show on the road.
It's on the road. Thanks.